This continues from the previous part that you haven't seen. You'll find it in the verse below, depending on your YouTube language. Specifically with Master Mu, who falls from the Temple of the First, but he opens the wings of the First Master's armor and flies while the Dark Lord's dragon chases him to make him fall. So, Master Mu then removes the wings to fall in the Ninjago way, and before he drowns, the Box of Trials comes and saves him. And on the other side, the Dark Lord's army led by the mechanic goes at that moment to attack Nia, while she's stuck in the middle of the ship. They were about to surround her, but then Jay arrives with his vehicle and starts fighting the mechanic and the Dark Lord's soldiers. But as you know, numbers overcome bravery. He was about to lose, but then she uses her elemental power to somehow blow up the water pipe on them, and it looks like she got her strength back through the power of love, honesty, and the blessing from the seal. The important thing is that G and Nia escape, and at that moment, G tells Nia a very important idea. Since Bantamar, if you remember, has become the ruler of the New Malibia Kingdom, so he can communicate with him through Nia's power, and they ask him to move his army to fight with them. Al-Mualim Ho is standing with the newspaper kids, who are very excited to fight with him, but Al-Mualim Ho tells them that it's not wise for them to fight now, and that he made a mistake when he let the ninja face Syed al-Zalam, and they weren't even ready for that. And now they only have one solution: to retreat until they gather their strength. But then, they hear about two people escaping from the south of Syed al-Zalam, and they were about to be transformed. So Al-Mualim Ho and the newspaper kids fight them, and they manage to save the two successfully. At that moment, Al-Mualim Ho regains his confidence again, that they are able to save Ninjago. And at that moment, he uses the radio to tell all the people of Ninjago to fight with all their strength and that they will not surrender. And then he helps the teachers while you ask the teacher to see the teacher when you enter him. How do I know she's Misako? And what the teacher says is that she discovered a way to help them from defeat and the happiness of darkness. And what appears, exactly as the teacher expected, is the image of the power of the elements called the dragon image. But the problem is that the writing is in a very strange language. He couldn't decipher the codes to get to this image in the next text. From the ship, Lloyd, Garmadon, and the beacon fall in. It's clear that Lloyd can't stand Garmadon at all. He refused to help him with anything. Anyway, after they escape from the policeman who's determined to keep them away now. I don't know why. I mean, because they were breaking the law. They go to the Serpentine Library at that time, hoping they might find anything to help them defeat the Lord of Darkness. But Garmadon keeps putting Lloyd down, telling him there's no hope at all, except for him to use his Oni form. But then Lloyd gets angry at him and says he doesn't want to use his Oni form, so he won't become like him. He replied sarcastically, and he doesn't care about anyone. So Garmadon tells him, "You're wrong, by the way. I care about my plants." Then Garmadon says, "God give me patience with you, my son? Are you crazy or what?" Anyway, they keep searching around the library for any Serpentine to work with them. A salute to Lev against the Lord of Darkness. At that moment, Lloyd says something a bit harsh to Garmadon, making him leave his plant and continue searching. When Lloyd notices this, he apologizes and tells him that maybe he has changed, but he'll need to prove it to him, actually in the future. We see Pixel fighting the Overlord's soldiers. On her way, she finds Zane's plane, the one he crashed in. But the problem is that Zane is completely destroyed inside the plane, to the point that his head is literally separated from his body. So Pixel gathers Zane's parts and takes him to Borg Tower to see if they can fix him. But the problem is, on the way, some of the Overlord's soldiers show up to destroy Pixel and Zane. But thank God the rest of the ninja arrive in a bus to help them reach Borg Tower. Yeah, that's it. There's no Dyson left. Anyway, the important thing is that Pixel gets Zane to Borg Tower to fix him, and damn, what's his name? Then we go with Kai, who flips his car next to Cole and quickly tries to help. That's right, so they can escape before Bither and the Lord of Darkness's soldiers find them and, of course, start fighting them. But the problem is that Cole hit his head really hard and he's totally out of it. So Kai supports Cole to help him escape, but Bither notices them and starts tracking them down. Kai then takes Cole and hides, but of course Cole, being an idiot, calls out to Bither and tells him they're here. So Kai's forced to kill Bither. The elemental powers don't even affect him in the slightest. But then Skylar comes in, takes Kai and Cole's powers, and fights Bither for a bit herself. After that, she creates a barrier between them with her power. Cole, so they can escape, tells Kai and Cole the latest news and what's happening in the city, and that everything is just chaos everywhere. And then they get a message from Master Wu on the radio, and he tells them that the news never sleeps. At that moment, they realize that this is a code, and he means he's at the newspaper headquarters. So in all this chaos, Kai and Cole head to the place. And after a while, as they're walking, they finally arrive and meet up at that moment. Master Wu is the one who tells them about this mysterious code, and that he's trying to decipher it, basically. And that this writing has been there for a very long time. And he's really trying to rack his brain, but he can't figure it out at all. So at that moment, they decide to take a 5-minute break, hoping they might come up with a solution. At the same time, he realizes that he can actually detect radio waves. The ninja, with Master Musa Aida, talks to them one by one and learns about their lives, and of course, what they've been through. So he knows that Mixel, in general, transforms like a samurai suit for the criminals to help them fight against this prevailing injustice. Other than that, thank God Zane is getting fixed and will be back to his carrier again. The important thing is, at that time, the teacher asks Cole to complete Princess Vanya, who is the Queen of Vanya, meaning the Queen of the Shintaro Kingdom, so that they can give them support and all that. And from the same conversation, he also talks to the Kingdom of Malibia, because every time the princess talks to Vanya, it has to reach a certain radio on the other side of Ninjago. But he rides the mail truck with the girl in the market and reaches the radio station, and every time he talks to Vanya to help them. But Jay goes to the shore of Ninjago, and he still needs to follow up on his daughter's details so he can come and help them. But she is hesitant because her powers haven't fully worked, and she doesn't know if she will do it or not. But then he comes at that moment and encourages her, and she sends a message with the 2 fish and waits for them. So he's not sure if the message reached the heroes or not, and she's not sure if the 2 fish will deliver the message or not, or if they might get eaten by passing sharks or something else. Lloyd and Garmadon couldn't find any serpentine to help them, so it's very likely that no one will help the ninja except themselves, all the ninja, including Garmadon. They return to Master Wu at the Crown Jade headquarters, and their master tells them about the scroll that Misako found. But the problem is that it's written in an unknown code, and even when the ninja try to follow the picture, they don't get anywhere. And now the problem is that Harumi intercepted the master's signal and figured out that they're at the newspaper headquarters. And she says this to Lord Garmadon, who sends his entire army to destroy them, while the ninja are still trying to reach their dragon form without any success. And that's when I tells them that Lord Garmadon's army is coming their way, and they need to escape and scatter. Garmadon decides to stay and fight them since he's the only one who can actually affect them. But Lloyd decides not to leave him alone, and the plan is for the ninja, the teacher, Misako, and the help of the criminals to distract Lord Garmadon and make him focus all his power on the newspaper headquarters. While Garmadon is distracted, Lloyd sneaks up behind him and stabs him as the big battle begins between Lord Garmadon's army and the villains against the ninja and the teacher, and we see Garmadon and Lloyd. They attack Lord Garmadon, and Harumi arrives at that moment, and a big fight breaks out full of action. And Habashtak was fierce. And what? Let me tell you that they made a whole episode's worth of enemies fighting each other in a line. And of course, the same thing happened on the other side, in the ninja battle, and Lord Garmadon's army. That's when the soldiers of the Shintaro Kingdom and the soldiers of the Malibia Kingdom come to help them in the battle, since they're all united. At that moment, they try to pull off a move on a dragon formation. It works and they literally get wings, but this time they affect Lord Garmadon's soldiers and manage to destroy them without being affected themselves, for just a quarter pound. And at that moment, it's a crushing victory for the ninja. But with Garmadon and Lloyd, after all that struggle, the Lord of Darkness defeats both Garmadon and Lloyd together, and then Saida starts to tell Garmadon what he is. Are you crazy, son? I'm the one who gave you that power in the first place, and I was behind everything, and I was the one who actually unleashed the Great Devourer. And of course, as soon as Nia hears that the Lord of Darkness is the one who freed the Great Devourer who killed her father and mother, Nia starts to disappear here. And she decides to side with Lloyd and Garmadon against the Lord of Darkness and against whoever is making the battle start all over again. But unfortunately, Garmadon gets seriously injured and dies in Lloyd's arms, so Lloyd gets extremely furious. And he transforms into the Oni form, becoming unbelievably powerful, and starts fighting with the Lord of Darkness. But when he sees his reflection in the crystal, he refuses to become the Oni, which makes him weak again. And the Lord of Darkness takes advantage of the situation and knocks him off the temple. And that's when we find out that the Lord of Darkness's plan was never to defeat the ninja in the first place. No, he actually wants to add to all the elemental powers, or more accurately, the power of creation using his abilities. Unfortunately, the master realizes this too late, on Ninja Day, that they need to unite all the Spinjitzu weapons together to direct them at the Lord of Darkness's beam, which he will use to destroy the power of creation. God forgive me, my friend. Anyway, after that, the ninja come together and unite the Spinjitzu weapons, creating a beam to counter the Lord of Darkness's beam. But the Lord of Darkness's beam is stronger than the ninja's beam, and each ninja tries their best. All the followers in the city, except who? Except Lloyd. And Lloyd is falling off the temple, like I told you, and while he's falling, we see sometimes the elemental power that was on the Spinjitzu weapons, after they were destroyed, turns into a golden dragon that Lloyd rides and continues the fight with the master. The darkness, but this time the confrontation is on Lloyd's side, and after a lot of fighting, he's able to use the power of the 4 elements against him, so he gets frozen, and then Lloyd hits him with a blow that makes him shatter and disappear again. At that moment, all his influence fades from Ninjago, and those who were transformed return to normal. Everything goes back to the way it was. And while Herm is telling Lloyd that they should escape the place before it collapses, Garmadon tells them that they need to get out. We find out that he faked his death in the first place, just to motivate Lloyd and strengthen his connection. Nothing more, nothing less. In the end, they escape at that moment, and everything goes back to normal again, except that all the elements disappear and return to their place in nature. And if you didn't notice that, it means the ninja lost their powers. But as you know, their powers will come back again through love and friendship. The season ends with the ninja in their place: Garmadon, Cole, Skull Sorcerer, Shintaro, Vanya, and Ninjago. And they're rebuilding the training headquarters so they can start over. That's it for today, but don't forget, there are many more benefits coming.